Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another episode of Curb Appeal, the series on my channel where I attempt to recreate homes in The Sims 4 using reference photos that I find on Pinterest or Google Images, what have you. So today I am building a tiny home, and I am building a tier 2 tiny home, which means that the maximum amount of tiles I'm allowed to use is 64 tiles, which is not a lot, as you guys know. So I haven't done a tier 2 tiny home yet. I've done a tier 1 and a tier 3, so I thought it would be nice to do another tier today, just so you guys can get a sense of how many tiles or how big of a home you can make with each tier. So also, before we even get started, I'm going to pop the photo up on the screen right now, the one that I'm kind of recreating. This episode of Curb Appeal is a little bit different just because I didn't really have like a really nice photograph necessarily to recreate. I just kind of saw this Instagram post and I was just inspired by it, I guess. I do recreate it quite nicely, but it wasn't like, I don't think this is like a real home. It's just like some sort of render or something like that on this Instagram page. So obviously, as you can tell, it is a container home. And I've been wanting to make a container home for a really long time. And I thought the whole tiny living stuff pack and all of that was a really good opportunity to make a tiny home finally, or a container home finally, I mean. So yeah, basically, as I said before, if you guys have seen my other videos using the tiny living pack, I don't think that 100 tiles, which is a tier 3 tiny home, I don't think that that's very tiny. I consider it quite small, but not tiny, and it's quite easy. So, and then I've done a 32 tile, which is a micro home. Yeah, that's a tier 1 tiny home, and that one's like pretty impossible. I did like a renovation, a love it or list episode, so if you want to see me renovate a 32 tile home, you can see that. I'll link it down below. So I've never done a 64 tile home, so that's what I'm doing today, and I hope that this is helpful for you guys to kind of get a sense of like how much you can fit in each tier. And I must say that this is kind of like a good size tiny home, in my opinion. When I think of tiny home, I definitely think of more this range of home, or range as in like this size, I think is a good like livable size. I think that the micro home category is like a little bit too small. You definitely need to be very creative. You definitely need to use like the bb.move objects cheat in order to like make anything work. But for this size, I feel like you don't miss out on too much, and you can have all your activities and make it quite livable. So yeah. So basically, I did follow the reference photo with the color scheme. So I made a black bottom container and kind of this yellow top container. I didn't have that same wallpaper to use on the top because that kind of like tin metal looking wall is from Strangerville, and it didn't come in this bright yellow color or any bright colors at all. So I did use kind of like that wooden paneling from what is it called? What is it called? Island Living? Oh my gosh, I just blanked. But yeah, that yellow color is from Island Living, and then the bottom color is from Strangerville. But you can use like any color you want, really. I just wanted to follow the reference photo, and I did want to make it look a little bit more worn down and grungy. So I think that the wooden boards from the Island Living pack definitely fit that very nicely. But I was really tempted to go for like a red or a blue, but yeah, maybe I'll change it later. But yeah, I just wanted to follow the reference photo, and I feel like this was a really easy reference photo to recreate. As soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, that'd be super easy and super feasible to do in The Sims 4. So I do think that I got the photo like pretty exact in my opinion, so I am pretty happy with the way that turned out. Obviously I add a ton more of like my kind of style and finishing touches on it and more detail to it because it was quite a simple build. I do play around with the windows. Those Moschino windows I thought really worked well here, and yeah, I just kind of like put my own little personal spin on things. But in terms of like the structure, I definitely think that I got it pretty close. So as you can see, I'm actually building this in San Myshuno, where the old salt house was. In the city living, expansion pack. So the house is really small, but the lot is super big. I'm building on that lot by the water, kind of down. It's not like a high rise, obviously. It's one of the actual ground level lots. And the house is tiny on a huge lot. So I did have to figure out a way how I could use the rest of the space available. So I'm only really using such a small little section of the lot that you'll see later. I do focus a lot on the surroundings, and I kind of make it like, I wish that we could do half community lots, half residential lots, because this to me is kind of like a park with this kind of container home landmark thing in the park. So you'll see me do it later, but I do put like a basketball court on this lot, and I do put like this roller rink on this lot too from the Seasons expansion pack. And I am going for this kind of like funky, kind of like a hipster vibe on this lot, kind of like this is the part of town that's a little bit more hippie and kind of a bit more like Instagrammable, if you know what I mean, like a really trendy part of town. They have these really cool light bulb looking lampposts, and there's this fun cute container home that's kind of like a landmark, but it's actually like someone lives here. So that's kind of like the vibe I was going for this, and that's how I kind of justified putting all of the extra activities on this lot. I just didn't want it to be, you know, dead space. I wanted it to be usable, and I figured that, you know, you're in the city, there's going to be little parks here and there for people to just kind of hang out. Obviously, if you don't want to use those portions, you don't have to, but I just didn't want to leave it as empty space. And yeah, I feel like I just tried to make it look really natural and blend in with its surroundings. So I think that I did that quite nicely. I do like the way that it turns out, and it does kind of feel like it's this, you know, container home that is just like a landmark in the middle of the city park, but somebody actually lives there. So yeah, I hope you guys like how that turns out. You'll see me finish it later. I'm still in the process of doing it on the screen right now, but I've never actually used that like roller rink item before, like ever. I barely use those outdoor activities ever in my building. I don't know why. I feel like in order to use like something like a roller rink or an ice rink, you have to make a specific lot for it. Like you have to make like a park to include it, and I'm not one to build community lots ever, or parks or anything like that. So I think that this was a good opportunity for me to kind of integrate it into my build naturally, because I don't think I would otherwise make an entire park on its own. But with this build where it's kind of like a container home with kind of like a park in the backyard, I feel like that's a time that I'd actually include kind of like park-like items in my buildings. So yeah, and I especially like that roller rink item because it has those kind of like those lights, those string lights across the top. So I feel like it added to the vibe I was going for in terms of this is like a very like trendy, Instagrammable, hipster part of town where there's, you know, cool lights and a cool park and with a cool roller rink with cool lights. I don't know if you're like feeling the vibe that I'm kind of feeling, but that's what I was going for. But besides that, I'm pretty much a lot of the exterior of the actual home is done, and as you guys can see, I actually spent a lot of time on the surrounding area outside, because I mean technically this is part of your lot, so if you do purchase this home and put it in your game, you do have to pay for all of that park area. So the lot ends up being around, I think, 76,000 simoleons, so it is quite expensive. So you might just want to like motherlode cheat it just so you can afford to live in the home, and the park just kind of comes with it. So I'm not sure what the value of the home would be without considering all of the park stuff, but you know, I don't really know. Do you guys like play with cheats? Do you guys cheat to get homes, or do you guys play the traditional way where you like grind out the money and, you know, get promoted at a job and then actually live in the home you want? Or do you guys just like motherload it so that you can get the home that you want? Let me know down below. I personally, for some reason, I always don't use money cheats. I know, like, I'm pretty sure everybody uses money cheats to live in the homes that they want, but for some reason I just don't. I'm not really sure why. For some reason, I think I just like the natural progression of getting more money and then making my home a little bit, nicer with every paycheck and like doing little renovations and stuff. But that's also because I'm a builder, obviously. So I think I like, having like the vision of what I want my Sims home to look like and like slowly being able to afford that kind of stuff and make changes. But I guess if you aren't a builder, you're not going to know what changes you're going to make gradually and what furniture pieces you're going to, purchase next. So if you're not a builder, I feel like it would just be easier to download a home from the gallery that's built by someone who you like, and then you like their style and you just put it in game and you move your sim into this nice home right away. It would just be easier. So I kind of see it from both point of views, but let me know down below if you guys use money cheats and if you guys just like move your sim into the home that you want them right away, or do you, like gradually build up their net worth and stuff. But yeah, let me know. I'm always interested in that kind of stuff. I don't really know what other cheats there are in like gameplay. There's like skills cheats and stuff. I don't do that. I feel like that sometimes defeats the purpose of the game if you use like skill cheats, unless you're like telling a story, then I completely get that. But for my personal gameplay, I'm pretty vanilla when it comes to personal gameplay. But yeah, let me know how you guys play the game. Also, is there like specific skill building activities that you always put in your homes? Like, do you always put an easel or gardening or, music or computer, or like what are the key items you put into your build? Because if I know what those are, then I'll make sure to always put them in my builds, because when I build stuff like this, I'm not necessarily building for a specific sim in mind. So if you guys let me know what items are like mandatory in your builds or in your gameplay, then I'll make sure to include them in my builds so that they're like playable for you guys, and you don't have to like, renovate them to fit your sim's needs. So yeah, if you want to, let me know about that and I'll consider it for when I'm furnishing my next home. But basically, as you can see, we are working on the interior now. Whew, I'm like out of breath for some reason. But as you can see, we're on the interior, and I do have like one tiny little skinny bathroom there. I did playtest everything and everything does work, so that's kind of like the smallest bathroom I've ever made in my whole life. But yeah, I don't really like making bathrooms, as you guys know, but I made that one work, and I did use the new Discover University shower. As you guys saw, it was like that wall shower where the faucet just like attaches to the wall. There's no like glass or door or anything to the shower, so I found that came in handy there. I think that it works quite nicely. And with the bedroom, I did use the new Murphy bed, of course, because, we love the new Murphy beds. I do wish that there were more like variations in like the style of the Murphy bed, if you know what I mean, because it like every Murphy bed comes with the same couch, and it's like sometimes I don't want to use that couch, if you know what I mean. So I guess obviously they can't make 10 different Murphy beds, but I do sometimes wish that there was like another option for the couch or something like that. But here you can see I'm making like a little living room that turns into a bedroom, and I use that little wall divider. It's kind of like a cool funky wall divider. I think that's from City Living. So I use that as a wall divider, and also kind of as like a makeshift wall where the TV is mounted on. So that television usually has to mount to a wall, but I kind of made it look like it was attached to that wall divider somehow. So I do like how that one looks, and I did playtest the Murphy bed, and it does, come down properly and you can sleep in it, so that works out well. And then behind here, I'm just putting in a little desk. I feel like all my builds, I always put a desk, because in real life, I just feel like most people have a computer or a laptop or an iPad or something, and you need like a desk or a surface to, like do your work on. So I'm really liking that new one tile desk that we got with the new pack, because I feel like it's coming in handy for these small builds, because most of the desks we have were like 2 tiles long, and they're just too big and bulky. So I'm finding that I'm getting a lot of use out of this one tile desk. So really, really love that. On the interior, as you guys saw, or as you guys can see, I did go for that white kind of brick interior with like warmer wood tone floors. So I've been so into using this white brick for some reason. I just can't get away from it. I just think that in this type of build, it kind of worked because it is kind of like, I just felt like nice paint would have been too formal, if you know what I mean. I don't know. I just like how it looks, I think, and I like how it contrasts nicely against the warm wood and the wood tones with the new tiny living furniture. I feel like contrasts really nicely against the white brick, and I thought that it went well with the Moschino windows. Those black windows look really nice against the bricks. So yep, just really been liking that. That's from Base Game too. I've used it in like my past 3 builds, not gonna lie. I feel like I have an unhealthy obsession with that white brick, but no one's complaining, I hope. So basically, I'm pretty much done with the upstairs, considering that it's only like, what is this, like 31 tiles upstairs and 31 tiles downstairs maybe? Or maybe like 30 tiles upstairs and 32 tiles downstairs. I fit quite a lot upstairs. I feel like I have a bathroom, a bedroom, a living room, and an office up there. So I don't know about you, but that's pretty good in terms of space and how much I fit in the space. And then upstairs there's also like a balcony off of the bedroom or off of the living room. I mean, it's all just one room, so it's just, there's a balcony upstairs, and I do put some patio furniture out there, and I end up putting a nice easel and stuff, so that's like a nice little bonus space. And I feel like the patio works really well with this build, kind of like you want to go out there and chill and look out on the water, and it's just very nice, because when you have a tiny home, you sometimes don't think to have a patio, but you know, people love patios, especially in the city. So downstairs, I really liked how I use these big Moschino windows. It's just, I don't know, I really like the natural light, and it does kind of work with the whole vibe of this area and this neighborhood and this build in general. So those Moschino windows, to be honest, they are really cool looking, but they don't always work with a ton of build styles, especially like kind of like traditional family home type of build styles. Those Moschino windows, let's be honest, like aren't the most homey windows. So I think that in this kind of city container, contemporary, cool looking build, those Moschino windows work really well. So I just put like another living room down here. Maybe if you have guests over, they'll sit in this living room because you don't want them to like come up to your bedroom. I'm not really sure. And then I just put like a little kitchen. So the kitchen takes up quite a bit of room. I managed to put an island in there, which was nice. Luckily, I got like the desk and the bathroom out of the way on the upstairs, so I didn't really need to put that much down here, and I didn't really need to like squish anything in too much. Like, it feels pretty spacious. You know, I had room for a coffee table, a bookshelf, an island chairs, you know. I had everything, you guys. I feel like this is a good sized tiny home. 64 tiles is definitely really workable. And yeah, no, I really enjoyed doing this one. I liked the layout of everything. And I did do some cool little trick with the coffee table that I think is really cute. Is one of them I kept regular size, and the other one I sized down and kind of slotted it underneath to kind of look like those coffee tables that like stack on top of each other. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the style I'm talking about, but it's like coffee tables that kind of like stack on top of each other, and you kind of like pull it out so it looks like they're kind of like tiered or something like that. Sometimes they come in 3s, sometimes they come in 2s. But I did that, and I think that it looks super cute. I don't know if I've done that trick before for you guys, but I think that it works especially well with the new round coffee table that we got with Tiny Living. By the way, this build uses all the packs. It doesn't use like just Base Game and Tiny Living. I know that normally I do just use Base Game plus Tiny Living, but in my Curb Appeal series, I usually don't limit my packs. So I hope that's okay with you guys. If you guys want to see some Base Game or more limited pack builds, I did upload quite a few Base Game plus Tiny Living only builds onto my gallery, so they're all up there for you guys to check out, and all of my Tiny Living builds are up on the gallery. I know a lot of you guys were asking for those, so I did do that. What else? Yeah, pretty much now we're just kind of putting finishing touches on the build. As you guys see, I also did add those blue flower boxes on the outside just to add a little bit more pop of color. I just wanted this to really look like a container home that was really upgraded and like put in this funky area of town in the downtown area, and I just feel like it looks really cool with all of its surroundings, and I was really just going for that like cool, Instagrammable, funky vibe. If you guys know what I mean. I hope that that's coming across properly. If not, that's okay. But regardless, I really hope that you guys did enjoy this build. I've never done a container home, and I've, always wanted to do a container home. I feel like there's more container homes that I want to do. So if you guys aren't bored of it already, I might have some more to do. But otherwise, I've been getting a lot of requests in my DMs for curb appeal episodes, and you guys have been sending me a lot of really, really great pictures. So just know that I have saved them, and they are in the queue, and I am planning to recreate a lot of the ones that you guys have sent me. But just know that it does sometimes take a little bit for me to prepare the videos and see which ones I want to build next and stuff. But I have been getting all of your requests, and I really appreciate it. You guys are sending me some really good stuff. But besides that, the video's over and the screenshots should be rolling. I really had a lot of fun doing this one. I do like how different it is, and I liked how the landscaping and the whole lot kind of turned out, so I hope that you guys do too. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a huge thumbs up and leave a comment down below what you thought about it. And if this was our first time meeting, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to be friends or if you want to see more Sims 4 videos. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys all in my next video. Bye everybody!